Paul of Tarsus was an important figure in the early times of Christianity. However, his journey wasn't simple, as many Roman citizens frowned upon his actions. Originally called Saul, Paul was born in Tarsus in southern Turkey 10 AD to a prominent Jewish family. He was born as a Roman citizen that was well versed in the Jewish faith through his rabbi's teachings. Through his rabbi's teachings, Saul was capable of preaching to individuals spanning across Jerusalem to Rome. However, before Saul's missionary journey to spread Christianity, he was commonly known for persecuting Jews that praised Jesus. In 33 AD, as he requests and receives permission to Damascus to pursue Jews who worship Jesus, he was encountered by a bright light. As written in Act 9, verse 1-9, "And falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, 'Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? I am Jesus of Nazareth.'" Through his encounter with Jesus, Saul meditated on his actions. After a while, his views on the Jews were reversed, and thus his journey to preach Christianity began. His contributions began in Damascus and Arabia. However, he was forced to flee due to his persecution of Jews. This resulted in Paul arriving at Jerusalem, where he met Saint Peter. Peter preached amongst the Jewish community, professing Jesus in all of his glory. Paul, on the other hand, preached to not only Jews, but to the Gentiles. His teachings were open to all believers and non-believers, mirroring how Jesus opened his hands to everyone. Through his preachings, many non-believers converted to Christianity, as well as already existing Jewish believers. Paul taught the Jewish community to become more accepting of the non-Jewish individuals. He also explained that Jesus was more important instead of the law, as well as forming a theology that was centered on ethical behavior and individual belief. These teachings were professed to the community through his missionary journey, which according to Acts 13-14 began in Syrian Antioch in AD 46-48. This is where Saul finally converted his name to Paul and began preaching to the Gentiles as the Jews neglected him. His second missionary journey was described in Acts 15-36, which took place in Tarsus, Derbe, and Lystra. Within these cities, Paul performed many miracles, including healing a mentally irritated girl. Through this holy act, many Gentiles turned to him and converted to Christianity. Paul's third missionary journey took place in 53-57 AD, according to Acts 18-26. This was Paul's most influential journey, as it was believed to be where he wrote the 2 letters to Corinthians. Finally, Paul's last journey through Jerusalem would be his last, as according to Acts 27, verse 17, he was arrested by the Romans for causing disturbance to the peace. He spent 2 years in prison at Rome, but that didn't stop him, as he wrote 14 letters which spoke about Jesus and his manifestation of his love for him. These letters can now be found in the New Testament and is the teachings that laid the foundation of Christianity, in which we still follow today. Throughout the trip, Paul was able to evangelize and establish Christian communities, reaching to Antioch, Tarsus, Galatia, Asia Minor, and elsewhere. Paul of Tarsus became a significant individual, as his contributions helped form the foundations of Christianity. His missionary journey was extremely important, as he altered the basic nature of Gentiles and Jews. He was also able to form a new religion, freeing it from the constraints of Judaism. His impact extends past his 14 letters that form the New Testament to the ethical behavior we Christians have adopted today. One of his most notable impacts was expanding Christianity towards non-believers and breaking the confines of its origin as a Jewish sect. Through his actions, Paul separated Christianity from Judaism, forming a whole new religion. This is perhaps why Paul of Tarsus is the most significant figure towards Christianity and its history. The impact Paul made towards society was his ability to preach in Greek concepts, allowing Christianity to be easily accessible. Not only did he impact society, but also individually, as he professed that Jesus was the universal salvation. Furthermore, Paul's 14 letters contain teachings that govern how Christians act today. For example, in 1 Corinthians verse 47, Paul proclaims that we should love one another. Finally, without Paul of Tarsus' efforts in preaching towards the Gentiles and Jews, Christianity would not be where it is today. His letters laid the foundations of Christians' adherents' beliefs, as well as their attitudes towards one another. Through his missionary journeys across Jerusalem and Rome, where he fiercely professed the good word of Jesus that led to his death, he too is an embodiment of Jesus. Paul's actions inspire Christian adherents in our modern society to do well towards one another, to mirror the actions of Jesus. Many of his teachings have also shaped the attitudes and belief of individuals and can be all found throughout the New Testament. Without his letters, the New Testament would not be where it is today.